Quick disclaimer, I had some microphone problems, so my audio quality wasn't the greatest in this video, but regardless, I'm still very passionate, so I would appreciate it if you would watch still. Hello everyone, and welcome to another sit down and talk type video. I finally fixed my audio problems, because I've recorded this several times, but forgetting that for a second, let's get to the topic of the video, and the topic is that I called it. Way back in my Persona 4 Tourist Problem video, I called it. Because I said that I was worried that Persona 4 Revival would be censored. And unfortunately, I wound up being proved correct. Because unfortunately, the creators themselves came out and flat out admitted that they're going to censor the game to hell and back. They flat out admitted it with an almost disturbing amount of glee, which is just such an interesting tactic to take, to just tell your fans outright, hey, this game is not going to be accurate like you probably want it to be. And that sucks. But to go over the things I said in that video so you have the context of that video, which you should go watch it just for the extra context. But to go over some of the points so it makes sense in this video, essentially, I went over three of the game's most problematic characters when it comes to tourists and LARPers misinterpreting the characters. And if you don't know what tourists are, they're essentially fake fans and people that pretend to be into something while not actually ever having consumed it, but acting like they know what it is better than the people who actually consumed it. But essentially, the big problem with this is that, well, so many things are complete and utter lies that they act like are the truth. And I'm going to go over them again, starting with Naoto. For some reason, a lot of tourists try to claim that Naoto is trans, despite there being no evidence to support it. And every which way, it's flat out not stated. I mean, even her shadow, one of the first things it says when it reveals that Naoto is female is, how can you act masculine, or something like that. It's like, how can you act manly when you were never even a man to begin with? Which is flat out is just saying it right there. But also trying to claim that she is just a spit in the face to everything her character arc represents. Her character arc is supposed to represent her letting go of her worries of being not taken seriously by her work. Because she dresses like a boy so that she gets taken seriously as a detective. But essentially what her social link is doing is that you're making her realize how much, or making her realize that she doesn't have to hide who she truly is just to be taken seriously. You help her realize how much she is okay with being a female, with being a woman. And especially if you date her, you get the line of, you make me realize how happy I am to be a woman. Or something like that. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's something to that degree. And essentially, that's just why it's such a spit in the face. But to move over to Kanji, because I don't want to spend too much time on this, people constantly try to claim that Kanji is gay. Which, I mean, I guess if you don't have, if you're not good at paying attention to the finer details, I guess it could be seen like that, because of his shadow acting flamboyantly gay. But here's the thing about the way his shadow acts, is that it's not a representation of Kanji himself, it's a manifestation of what Kanji's afraid that people, or it's a manifestation of what Kanji's afraid people will see him as. His shadow acts like a huge flamboyant creep that's constantly perving over people who want nothing to do with it. He's afraid that being a big manly man who's into feminine things will make him come off as a huge creep, as a huge freaking weirdo. That's what he's worried about. His shadow doesn't represent him being in the closet. His shadow represents his fear of what people see him as, or what people see him as if they knew what he was into. That's why his shadow acts the way it does. It is a literal representation of his fear, not a representation of his gayness or something. And next character, Yosuke, has two different things that people misinterpret. For one, they try to claim that he's gay, but there's even less evidence to support it with his regard. Because they try to claim he's gay for no other reason than just, trust me, bro. That's literally like the only evidence I've ever seen is just, well, if you pay attention, and it's like, okay, give me examples. And they never can give examples beyond, well, he is uncomfortable around kanji, which means he's totally in the closet, which, like, no. That doesn't even make a lick of sense. If anything, that would prove the opposite, that he's uncomfortable with the possibility that kanji's gay. But that's another thing. Like, people try to claim that he's gay because of an unused line of dialogue in the game's files, which, for one, it's unused. Why would you use that as evidence for something happening in the main game when it was clearly removed, because clearly the developers changed their mind on it? But second of all, the line itself isn't even full, or the problem with the line itself is that people claim it's for an unused romance option for the character. But, sorry. But to be blunt for 1 second, there's no evidence to support that claim. People say that all the time, but here's the problem. There's no proof of it. There's nothing in the game's files to support it. It's just a romantic line said in a romantic context. To the point where he could say that to anyone. It doesn't mean it was meant for the main character. And on top of that, like I said, there's no like text strings or code in the game's files to suggest that's what the intention was. And the problem is that the only place I've ever seen these like misconceptions come from is, I'm pretty sure the only people that ever, or the first people to state it, were Did You Know Gaming, which I love Did You Know Gaming, but I have to admit they have a problem with accidentally misleading people with false information. I mean, they did it all the way back in their first Smash Brothers video, where they claimed that the original title for the game was Dragon King, the fighting game, which isn't even true. It was what it was truly named after was the city that was used as the image in the background of the game, which the city itself, its name translated roughly to Dragon King. So really, what it was just named after the city. It wasn't actually called Dragon King, the fighting game. They have a habit of misinforming people, and even they admitted that it was a piece of misinformation, because in one of their later videos they claimed that people have the misconception that this is what the game was originally called, which they caused, but they don't admit it. But again, I'm not trying to call them out as, oh, they're wrong and horrible. I like the channel. It's just that you have to admit they have a problem with misinformation. Well, so just taking what they said with a grain of salt is just like, all they did was they claimed, oh, it could have been used for a removed romance option, but they never show any evidence of that. They just make the claim, but then don't show evidence. So trying to use that as some sort of smoking gun makes no sense. But that's not the only misconception people have about that character. They also try to claim that he is homophobic, which he's just not. And you may be wondering, how the heck am I going to defend this? I mean, he's constantly worried about Kanji being gay, and well, but plain and simple, he's not homophobic for one simple reason. He's a teenage boy stuck in a town that's very off the map and not very with the time. So it's only natural that he's not familiar with gay people. Plain and simple, he's uncomfortable with the possibility of Kanji being gay because he's uncomfortable with something he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand gay people, so it makes him uncomfortable, which is just how people are. People are uncomfortable with things they don't understand. That's just how it is. And, like, it's, what's the best way to put it? Basically, yeah, he's just basically a person who's not familiar with these things, and he doesn't know how to properly handle them, and comes off as insensitive several times. He's uncomfortable with it because he doesn't understand it. And even then, when people try to claim, oh, there's so many lines where he's offensive to him, well, that's not even that true, as I can only recall really a few lines where he even comes off as insensitive. And one of them's before he even, and one of them's before he even properly knows kanji. So, like, and the second time is during the camping event, where he's less trying to be antagonistic towards him and more just trying to clarify whether or not he actually is. It's just that Kanji flies off the handle and then the two of them argue, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to claim that Kanji's at fault. Obviously, Yosuke was in the wrong for, doing that. But it doesn't change the fact that he was really just trying to clarify. And even then, people try to claim, like, oh, well, he never gets reprimanded for it, and it's not true. People, like, not only does Kanji constantly bite at him for saying the stuff that he says, but on top of that, other characters call him out on it. He doesn't get away with it, and he's never, like, proven right or treated like he's in the right. He's always treated like he's being a jerk, because he is. And the thing is, people act like characters just can't have flaws. Like, what's wrong with a character having a flaw? Characters need to be flawed, and it's for that reason in Atlas's weird determination to make characters not flawed that makes me worry about how 6 is going to turn out. I mean, think about it. They actually censored Rise in a bikini in the English version of the trailer. If they can't handle Rise in a bikini, then how are they going to handle Rise's shadow, which is a representation of... Because, like, people misinterpret it as, like, oh, she's, tired of being seen as some sort of sex symbol. That's not what it is. Clearly she's not, or doesn't have a problem being seen as a sex symbol. I mean, she flirts all the time with the main character and tries to put on her charms. If she didn't have a problem with being seen as attractive, she wouldn't fucking do that. And on top of that, too, that's not even what her shadow represents. Her shadow represents her desire for people to see who she is. That's why her shadow says she wants to bear all. She shows a stripper trying to bear all as a metaphor of her desire for people to see her true self, to see the naked truth of what she is, to put it on a little thick. And again, if they can't handle Rise in a bikini, how are they going to handle Kanji's shadow? How are they going to handle Kanji himself? Are they going to turn him gay just to appease the tourists? Are they going to turn Naoto trans to appease the tourists? If they do that, they're going to kill this game horribly. And if they can't handle that, then if they can't handle character flaws and they can't handle sexualization, how are they going to handle the dominatrix side of Chie's shadow or the perverse side of Yukiko's shadow? How are they going to handle this stuff if they can't handle something as basic as Rise in a bikini? And it's not even just that, too, because, like I said, this makes me worried about 6, because how are they going to handle that? I mean, they even censored 3, which is what clued me off that 4 would be censored. They censored 3 to remove a scene with a character that people interpreted as trans. Personally, I interpreted it as a drag queen, but that's neither here nor there. And it's like, if they wanted to remove that scene, like, sure, remove it. But the least they could have done was replace it with the alternative scene from Persona 3 Portable, where they have Kashiwagi, the perverse teacher from 4 that is into students. And again, if they can't handle Rise, how are they going to handle Kashiwagi? Will they just remove her altogether, or remove her perverse nature, which is the whole point of the character? How are they going to handle Hanako, the the fat girl that is constantly the butt of a joke. Are they going to remove her altogether? Because that will remove several scenes from the game. And how are they going to handle the beauty pageant? Or how are they going to handle the bikini pageant or the cross-dressing pageant? Will those be removed? Because those can be removed. Because what? They can't handle, oh, they're making fun of cross-dressers. They can't handle, will they be able to handle, oh, they're ogling these underage characters, which, like, come on. That's like such a pansy freaking thing to be like, oh, they're underage. Who cares? They're fictional. Like, and it sucks too because I'm such a huge fan of this franchise. I've played 4. I've played 5 twice. I've played 3. I've played the remakes. I made the characters in WWE, as you can see in the background. I made a whole arena, as you can see in what's in the background. I love this franchise, and 4 is my favorite, so to see it butchered just kills me. And like I said, if they can't handle this, how are they going to handle 6? What are they going to do with 6? If they're afraid of character flaws, how is 6 going to be written? Because if they can't do character flaws, 6 is going to be such a boring game. But maybe it's not. Maybe there's still hope. Because the thing is, this game hasn't come out yet. And if we speak with our wallets and don't pre-order this game and don't buy this game, and if we go on to social media platforms and let Atlus know as loud as we can why we're not okay with this, maybe it can still be fixed. If Atlus knows that we're not happy with this, maybe they will still have time to change it. So that's why I don't plan on buying this game, and why I believe that you shouldn't either if you are truly a fan of this game. And don't get me wrong, I'm not ignorant to the idea that I'm not ignorant to the fact that I'm just some doofus on the internet with no clout. I don't think I can tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I think you should do. And I think that if you're a fan who truly loves the series and wants to see it thrive, then you should not support this game. You should tell Atlus with your money that you don't want this to be what Persona becomes. And I think that us as a collective fans should go onto social media. We should go on to YouTube, Twitter, or X, or whatever you want to call it. You should go on Instagram. You should go onto all these social media platforms and let Atlus know this is not what we want. We need to be loud and we need to drown out the fake tourist LARPing fans. And us as collective fans need to make our presence known and true by being louder than them. And maybe it'll be enough to let Atlus know this isn't what we want. Maybe it'll be enough to fix it. But on the other hand, maybe it's too late. I mean, like I said, Atlus already censored stuff in the past, despite this whole thing not being as bad in the past. And, like I said, Atlus mentioned this stuff with an almost disturbing level of glee. So, maybe they just become compromised. Maybe they've lost their edge and no longer can tell stories with characters with flaws. Maybe they're too far gone. But regardless, us as fans need to hold on to our hope that we can fix this by letting Atlus know this isn't what we want. So that's, again, why I implore that we need to let our voices be known. And hopefully we can just help put a stop to the epidemic of games being censored in remakes. I mean, I can only hope that something like the Danganronpa 2x2 remake is good. It's looking good, but it could always be censored too, just because people are upset about things. But that's why we need to make our voices known, so we can potentially make a difference. So we can hopefully fix this and let Atlus know how we think. But I don't got much else to say beyond that, and I will say this as some closing points. If you did watch to the end of this video, which this video is coming to an end, if you did watch to the end of this video, I appreciate it so much, and I would appreciate if you would subscribe or like this video. Boost it. Let people know about this video, and let this call of action become more well known. And again, obviously I don't think people will listen to me, but if there's a chance that people do, I would like this video to be more known. And don't get me wrong, I care more about the game than I do about getting views from this, about getting subscribers. I do this stuff for the love of the game. I don't have any desire to make money off of this or gain fame from this. This is exclusively just because I'm passionate about this. And I want to see this franchise thrive and not go into the toilet like I'm afraid it will if it goes down the path that it is. So please, if you could boost this video, let people, or show it to other people, let this call to action be known. And let Atlas know what it is. And thank you if you did watch to the end. And I appreciate it if you did. And if you do actually do the things I asked you to do, then know that I appreciate the effort to try to help save a franchise that's going in a direction it shouldn't go. But that's really all I have to say. So, as I say in my outro, I'll see you guys the next time I make a video. Bye.